Hello, I warmly invite you to a lecture on the bones of the hand and the radiocarpal joint. The hand, that is manus in Latin, is the main tool of human work throughout the ages. Therefore, learning its skeleton and range of motion is an issue that each of us should truly become familiar with. However, it must be remembered that pathologies occurring in the discussed region are not associated only with injuries. Many systemic diseases, such as diabetes mellitus or gout, manifest specifically within the region of the hand. Therefore, I invite you to the lecture. When it comes to the bones of the hand, we can divide them into three groups, which we will distinguish based on the illustration showing on the left hand from the front. Carpal bones, wrist, and in Latin carpus, are marked in blue. There are 8 of them in 2 rows of 4 each. Then metacarpal bones, metacarpus, in Latin also metacarpus. There are 5 of them, corresponding to the number of fingers, although generally it should be remembered that they are located within the hand, while the division into phalanges occurs distally, according to the beige color in the image, fingers and Latin digiti. Each finger has 3 phalanges, except for the thumb, which consists of only 2. We will start with the carpal bones. Here in the illustrations we have the left hand both from the palmar anterior view and dorsal posterior view. As I mentioned, the carpal bones are arranged in 2 rows, 4 in every row. First, we will get familiar with the proximal row. Memorizing the names of these bones is not difficult, as there is a well-known mnemonic. Here it is. Some lovers try positions that they can't handle. So we have 4 bones with the images. Starting from the lateral side, we have scaphoid bone, os scaphoideum, lunate bone, os lunatum, triquetral bone, os triquetrum, and pisiform bone, os pisiforme. The names are of course related to the shapes of these bones, particularly visible in the scaphoid bone. You may have noticed that the pisiform bone is present only on the palmar side. It is the only carpal bone that overlaps another bone, in this case the triquetrum, which is why it is not visible in the dorsal view illustration. Now we move to the second row of carpal bones. The next part of the mnemonic goes as follows: that they can't handle. Again, starting from the lateral side, we have trapezium, os trapezium, right next to trapezoid, os trapezoideum, then capitate bone, os capitatum, and hamate bone, os hamatum. I think the capitate bone is particularly notable due to its shape. This time the entire row is visible from both sides of the hand, and thanks to the mnemonic you won't have any trouble memorizing all 8 carpal bones. Returning to the palmar surface, we will describe here the topographically important structures. Notice the prominent bony points visible in the illustration. On the radial side, the tubercles of the scaphoid and trapezium bones form the radial prominence of the wrist, eminentia carpi radialis, whereas on the ulnar side, the pisiform bone, together with the hook of the hamate bone, form the ulnar prominence of the wrist, eminentia carpi ulnaris. These two prominences create a depression between them, which we call the carpal groove, sulcus carpi, forming a U-shaped valley. There's a diagram of a transverse section through the wrist, which helps us to understand the location of these structures. The mentioned groove is closed anteriorly by the flexor retinaculum, retinaculum flexorum, a fibrous element that attaches to the wrist prominences and serves to stabilize the tendons of the muscles, mainly the flexors of the fingers, which pass behind it, that is, in the space that has just been formed. This is the famous carpal tunnel, canalis carpi. Moving further distally, we have the metacarpal bones, which occur in number 5. So, intuitively, each of them has a similar structure. In the proximal part, there is the base, basis, basis, then the body, corpus, and in the distal part, the head, caput. I emphasize that the metacarpal bones are not fingers, but structures that form what we commonly call the palm. Between them there are numerous muscles, tendons, nerves, and vessels that fill these empty spaces, visible in the illustration. Finally, there are the fingers, in Latin digiti, which are formed by 14 phalangeal bones, phalanges. Generally, each finger consists of 3 phalanges, whereas the shortest finger, digit first, also called the thumb, consists of only 2 phalanges. Thus, these 14 bones comprise 5 proximal phalanx proximalis. Hi, thank you for watching my video. If you are interested in anatomical lectures, I invite you to my platform schoolofanatomy.com. There you will find full-length lecture videos where I discuss every topic using specific anatomical illustrations, and I also translate anatomical terms into Latin. You will also find numerous topic-based quizzes to test your knowledge. If you would like to receive regular doses of anatomy content, subscribe to my channel and sign up for the newsletter. I share every new lecture published on the platform, and every 5th lecture is available in a full version on YouTube. All links you will find in the video description. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon. School of Anatomy, Maciej Haberka.